Be peace be with you. Just wanted to say a few things about what is happening around what we heard about Paris around the world and some of the reactions we got. At the beginning, let me start by saying and being clear about our condemnation of what was done in the name of Islam by people who are in fact not at all defending the principles of Islam. It doesn't mean that we just dismiss the point as Muslims, as Muslim scholars and intellectuals. We have to respond and to say clearly that the references that they are using and the way they are dealing with the Quran and the prophetic tradition has nothing to do with our religion and is distorting the very essence of our religion. This is the starting point of the discussion, and we need to repeat it because many people are saying, oh, we don't hear you saying or condemning. So for the last, I don't know, 25 years, and even when this was done in Muslim majority countries as in Egypt, I was one of those and not the only one. We were so many saying this is not right from an Islamic perspective, and so the religious answer should be there, but we don't have to justify ourselves and on being in the defensive every time. But let me start with this to make it clear where we stand on this issue. The second point, which is also very important, is in times of death and people losing their family, their friends and their relatives, we need to show this empathy and say, okay, this is the first political statement, is to be on the side of the people, the innocent people that were targeted, even the oppressed people that have been targeted around the world. It's true in Paris, it has to be true also in Beirut, in Afghanistan, in Turkey, in African countries, wherever, in Afghanistan. And all this, it's important, is that there is no difference between the people and between individuals, and our humanity should be humanity for everyone. So this is the starting point of the discussion. Then let me come to the reaction that we have now around the world. It's as if we haven't learn anything from history, from the reaction, the Bush reaction just after September 11, and the way he was saying it's us versus them, and we are going to retaliate, and we are going to show that we are not scared, and speaking about American Muslims or Islam as yes, it's a religion of peace, but it's not our legacy. It's as if the American Muslims had also to show that they are really good Americans, and they have to choose their side. This very wrong way of thinking, you are with us or against us. No, I was, as so many Muslims and people of other faiths or without faith and religion, against the violent extremists, but at the same time against George W. Bush and his policy, which is a crazy policy, and the reactions to this is to go and to kill innocent people in Afghanistan and to do what was done in Iraq, because at the end of the day we have to hold people accountable of what they are doing. Who went to Afghanistan and nurtured this cycle of violence and extremism? The American policy and government. The same with all the lies that we saw in Iraq. There were no weapon of mass destruction. So they also here have to be quite clear on what happened and the way we have to deal with this. And then the first reaction of Barack Obama, the president, was to say what he said, and I just read, it's an attack of all humanity and the universal values we all share. That we share. Yes, we share these universal values. But what about you, President Barack Obama? Which legacy are you going to leave while you will end your mandate as the President of the United States of America? You speak about universal value, you speak about liberté, fraternité, égalité. As you said, these are the words and the notions that we are all sharing, and that the commitment to life, liberty and happiness. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. And I thought when you came when you were in charge first, that something is going to change. They even gave to you, President Barack Obama, the Nobel Prize, the Peace Nobel Prize. For what? Can we just now come and consider when we are saying they are against our values? Because at the end, you don't have the same rhetoric as George W. Bush, but which difference can we see in your policies? What is the difference between what was before you and what you are doing? Once again, what is your legacy? And what is the legacy of the Western countries on this? And I am the first to say that the first responsible for the disaster in the Middle East are the Arabs and the Muslims and the Persians and all of them all together. They are the first, but you're not helping. Quite the opposite. You are proposing and nurturing the divisions from within to destabilize. So your democratization of the West, the Middle East, was mainly much more spreading death and disorder. And once again, to control the countries, because this is at the end what is happening. So, once again, we talk about values and the problem of these people. And once again, I'm not talking about Muslims, and you said it, you repeated it, you, the West, the governments, this had nothing to do with Islam. Islam has nothing to do with this, yes, and the handful of people that are involved in this are marginal. Everything, all this is not happening in the mosques. This has happening with people who are outside the mosque, and we have to condemn, we have to work to stop this. But we also need to get to the reasons why. Because we heard a scholar, unfortunately, saying, oh, we have to talk about peace and not to talk about the reasons. Of course, we have to talk about justice and the reasons if we want peace, because there will be no peace if there is no justice. So this is why we have to come and to hold you accountable, you and the Western governments and the French government as well, because at the end of the day, this is the problem. So let me be quite clear, because you were talking, in fact, why I'm talking about the United States now. I'm talking about the United States because if you look at the European countries, they don't have a policy. They are just following in the footsteps of what you are doing. They followed you in Iraq, they followed you in Afghanistan, they are following you now, and you come and you say, oh, these people are killers. Yes, they are killers. But now we have to stand for the values. You have to stand for justice and dignity. Can I ask you something? President of the United States of America, what are the values that you are promoting when in your jail, under your authority in Guantanamo, you know that innocent people has been in jail for 8 years, 10 years, and you know, and the military court, as well as all the reports, we know that some people are completely innocent. They were at the wrong time and the wrong place. And you still keep them. How many people are in jail in the United States of America pushed by infiltrants, the FBI, and they are in solitary confinement? How many? How many to come to the world and to speak about justice? No, I'm sorry. It doesn't work. The problem is here for all of us, Muslims, but not only, by the way, your own citizens who are Muslims or non-Muslims or people of other faith or no faith, all the citizens who have a mind and who think about what you are doing, your domestic policy inside with people who are targeted and some people who are completely lost in social terms being used by the FBI, infiltrants, and also your own way of dealing with them and making it, in fact, implicitly, Islam is a problem, even though you are saying, no, it's only the violent extremists. And then come to your international policy and your international involvement. Well, for example, you have been supporting for so many years, you and the administrations before, Iraq with Saddam Hussein, bin Laden, and so many dictators and corrupt regimes. Even Ben Ali in Tunisia, you are supporting him, yes. And you were dealing also in a way before and then after with the Libyan dictator and with Bashar al-Assad until now you are saying we have to stop with him. Why? Because you care about democracy? No, because you care about your interest. So, once again, don't speak about value, please. Speak about your interest and the geostrategic interest, even with the Gulf state, even with all these states. You don't care, in fact, about democracy. You care about just protecting your security. And then also, to the point that when the people are voting, and there is a process, a procedure, in elections, even though I was very critical with the winner, the Muslim Brotherhood, and what they were doing. At the end, you supported a Sisi, a dictator, a corrupt dictator. You don't care. And then you come and you lecture the world about our common value when this comes to the West, because you are going to kill them when, for example, you just bombarded a hospital in Afghanistan and the world is as if, oh, they are Afghani people. We don't really care. Why? Why? The life of the French people is much more valuable than the life of the Afghani, than the Iraqi, the Syrian, the Palestinian, because we heard you, and then we heard even Hillary Clinton saying that she is supporting unconditionally Israel, and Netanyahu, the one who just killed how many? 1,400 at least civilians, men, women, children, and you are supporting this? Because this is beyond any questionable interest? Why? Why is it that you are doing this and you can't now come and support this liar? Because he's a liar. But by the way, you also and your administration lied to the world by saying we are going to liberate and to democratize Iraq. Look at your business. And then also in Yemen. What about your drones that are killing more people and innocent people even than your predecessor, George W. Bush? That's the reality of your legacy. Lots of nice words. Dirty politics. That's the reality. And then, if we want to come to the reasons, I would be the first to be against these people, Daesh and ISIL, because these people at the end were created through a political, historical process that came from your policy in the regions, or your lack of vision. Because at the end, what is your vision beyond your interest, geostrategic interest, economic interest, and protecting Israel, and protecting your allies in the region, whatever regime they have or they are setting. That's the reality. That's the reality now, and the problem has to do with politics, has to do with inconsistency, not that we are sharing or not values. We are, but we can't share inconsistent policy. We can't share the fact that in the end of the day, you are not supporting all the human beings the same way. Your people first, your interest first. Let me say something to end this. That, yes, I would be the first with intellectuals and scholars to be very critical towards all the regimes and the Muslims and even the Arabs and the Muslims and the way that the Muslims are the same in contradiction with their values. But at least let us be clear on that. That in the future, if we want to be involved and to change this, to change the reality of violent extremism, it has to do with our consistency and our courage to deal with it and to say, okay, if you are quiet about dictators, corrupt dictators, if you are quiet about the Palestinian issue, if you are quiet about the Palestinian rights, if you are quiet about all this, it's not going to work. Or it means, in a cynical way, that you are taking advantage of what is happening, instrumentalizing these people in a way which is promoting and protecting your interests. And on the long run, let me also say it's not going to work, because it's going back to us in the West. And let me speak as a Westerner. I am a Westerner. I am a citizen, a Western citizen. Take it, get it. I'm a Western citizen. And as a Western citizen, I'm saying, you are leading us, all the governments, from the French today to the European governments and the American governments, towards a destination which is not promoting justice, not promoting peace, not promoting dignity, just interest and dirty politics. Let us be citizens with courage, to be clear with you and hoping that one day, maybe when you will be with us on the front, that something could change, because it has to change. Let me finish with something that I'm always saying. Tell the people you love that you love them, because at the end, this is the essential. Be with you.